welcome everyone. This is a meeting of the Hayward Local Agencies Committee, or HLAC as we call it, comprised of representatives from the Hayward Area Recreation District, the Hayward Unified School District, and the City of Hayward. And I want to call this meeting to order. And shall we together recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I don't know that we have a flag, but oh, I have a flag. Okay, here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. And let's go around, and I'll just call on the agency. So I'll start with Hayward Unified School District, and can the people from there, I see April Akenda, and I heard Matt Wayne, so go ahead. Oh, and Peter Buffette. So do you want to introduce yourselves, April and Peter? And Matt? Go ahead.
Dr. Wayne, do you want to begin?
Sure. Matt Wayne, Superintendent of the Hayward Unified School District, and also joined with Maya Hernandez, who supports the Hayward Youth Commission, and I know we'll get to meet the Youth Commission members soon too, who are some Hayward students. Dr. Akenda?
Hi, I'm April Akenda. I'm currently serving as president of the Hayward Unified School Board.
Hi, Peter Buffette, Vice President of the Board of Education, Hayward Unified.
Okay, and then we'll go to Hayward Area Recreation District. Mr. Wheeler here, who's Rick?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, Rick's here. Good evening.
Oh, there you are, yes.
Good day, Mayor Halliday. I'm Jim Wheeler. I'm the General Manager of the Hayward Area Recreation Park District, and I have Rick Hatcher, Board Member Richard Hatcher with us here today. And then my staff that is in the room, Nicole Roa, if you want to wave, is our acting assistant to the GM. You may have known Jackie Diaz, she retired recently. Megan Tiernan, our Director of Capital and Planning. I see Vicente Zuniga, who works as a recreation supervisor and is our representative to the Youth Commission. And I would be remiss if I did not introduce the president of our board of directors, President Carol Pereira. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, no one's called me Richard, so that's a good one. Thanks, Jim. I feel like I'm in detention here. So
Forgot me, Adrian Liebert, Recreation Director. Hi.
Oh, sorry. Too many panels. Sorry, Adrian.
Okay, and then I am Barbara Halliday, the mayor of the city of Hayward, and we have our city manager, Kelly McAdoo. You want to introduce yourself, and is there anyone else here? Oh,
yeah, so we have a couple folks. Wanted to introduce Rosalinda Romero, who will be supporting us this year as the city hosts the HLAC. And then I believe Ivan Padilla was here. I don't see him on my screen right away, but with the library staff and supporting the Hayward Youth Commission. And then I think we've got two council members, so they want to introduce
Council Member Lamnon.
Councilmember Andrews is here, but she's not on camera. She's on at the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm here too. Thanks.
All right. And then I think that we have some members of our Hayward Youth Commission here who I would love to have introduce themselves. Can Maya, can you facilitate that?
Yes. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to come back and update you on the work of our commission. We have our leadership of the HYC here representing, and I will let them introduce themselves, actually, if that's okay with you. So go for it, Shruti, and take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm a high school senior at Impact Academy, and I'm currently serving as the chair of the Hayward Youth Commission.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Anna. I'm a current junior at Hayward High, and I'm the vice chair for the HYC.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hernor Gill. I'm the chair pro temp of HYC, and I currently attend UC Berkeley, but I attend in Tennyson High School for high school.
Hey, And our advisors, I think you know everybody, but Vicente, Ivan.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see so many familiar faces. I'm Ivan Padilla with the Hayward Public Library, and I am the Education Services Coordinator. And this is my 4th year with the Hayward Youth Commission.
Good afternoon, Vicente Zuniga, Recreation Supervisor with the Hayward Area Recreation and Park District. Oversee youth and teen programs for HARD. I believe it's my 2nd or year and a half that I've been with the Youth Commission.
And sorry, Maya Hernandez, I work with Hayward Unified School District. I am a coordinator, and my role is supporting our middle high school programming for expanded learning, summer, before school, after school. And I've been an advisor for the commission for 3 years. So pretty much Ivan, me, and Vicente kind of rolled in around the same time into our advisor roles. I was going to ask if we could please have access to, I could get access to share my screen, as I will be driving our presentation.
Sure thing. Let me.
Okay, and with that, I do think we have, first, I really do want to welcome the members of the Youth Commission to this meeting today. We are so glad to have you, and really are grateful for your service. And we also hope that you are getting something out of serving on the Youth Commission and being part of the policy making of our community. So we're really glad to have you here. And so we'll go to item number 2 on our agenda, which is the Hayward Youth Commission budget allocation and contributions by the City of Hayward, the Hayward Unified School District, and the Hayward Area Recreation District. And who is going to lead us in this discussion?
I believe Ms. Hernandez is going to start the presentation.
Okay.
I think the youth commissioners are going to. Maya, can you share your screen now? Is it working?
Yes.
Perfect.
1 second, and let me make sure. Where's my thing? Hold on 1 second. Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. Can you see my screen?
Not quite yet, but
Huh.
it looks like it's, I see,
Oh,
there's a big, it says Maya Hernandez has started screen sharing, but there it is. Okay, got
there
it.
There we go. Okay, and Ivan's gonna take us away, and we'll all chime in.
All right. Well, hello to everyone again. So first off, I see that you see all my colleagues have really cool personalized HYC virtual backgrounds. My computer at the library will not cooperate with it, so I'm not trying to be a rebel and have a different background as the rest of everybody. But thank you guys so much. We hope with this presentation you see, what we've been working on, what we continue to work on and what our goals are for the end of the year and moving forward, and seeing our ask with the MOU and what we're hoping to achieve today. I think we've all met each other. This year is my first year as the lead advisor for the Hayward Youth Commission. The past 2 years, Myers has done a great job, so I'm trying to do as good as well as she's been doing for the Youth Commission, and Vicente has been with us as well. And I think we did our introductions already. So those are the 3 advisors. And for our board and council liaison, so Council Member Francisco Zermeño comes to almost every HYC meeting and gives us, an update with what's going on with the city council, what's going on in the city, which is great. We currently have Rick Hatcher and Peter Rosen as our board members, also for the HYC. And these members help us, besides going to the meetings, which all of you here are more than welcome to come join. Besides going to the meetings, they also help with the recruitment and the interviews. And I see some familiar faces, like Dr. Okendo was with us last year to recruit the commissioners we had for this year. Slide. And you've met our Hayward Youth Commission members also, and they'll be taking on the most of this presentation. But with Shruti, Anna, and Harnoor, they all have been really integral in the roles of planning all of the stuff that we have been doing. I think they're a great representation for the commission, and they have all multiple years with the commission as well.
Yeah. So as a quick, brief background of the Hayward Youth Commission, the establishment of the commission dates back to September 22, 1992, thanks to Councilmember Ward and the Hayward City Council for recognizing the importance in youth speaking out and advocating for their community. And every year, the commission is in session. The 3 different agencies, the City of Hayward, HUSD, and HARD support to develop and endorse the HYC. The role of the lead advisor from one of the agencies is rotated every 2 years. And the lead advisor basically oversees the logistics of the commission meetings. And at least currently, you know, with COVID and everything and the current climate of things, they'll be looking over Zoom links, agenda, you know, et cetera. This year, Ivan, representing the city of Hayward, is the lead advisor. Yeah, on to the next slide.
So HYC's mission is to provide youth in the city of Hayward with the means of communicating their concerns, needs, and opinions to the agencies that affect their community, namely the Hayward City Council, the Hayward Unified School District, and the Hayward Area Recreation and Park District. In the Hayward Youth Commission, we have different topics we address as a commission. This year, we reorganize ourselves to ensure we focus on what matters to the commissioners, as well as the youth of Hayward. Previously, I was involved in creating events to build stronger bonds between Hayward youth and emergency services in our city, specifically the Hayward Police Department. This year, our group is focusing on community service more. And more recently, we did a cleanup on Whitman Street, which is shown on the slide. And later this month, we'll be doing volunteer work with the Hayward Animal Shelter.
Another committee that we have on the HYC would be marketing and branding. And recently we have reformed our logo into one that is new and improved. And this is something that I have been advocating for since the start of my HYC career. And furthermore, we are also hoping to expand our social media influence in promoting our events and just general HYC topics on the internet.
And as far as the policy and advocacy subcommittee, our main goals are to research and review policies that affect young people and build better relationships with policymakers. In achieving these goals, we have plans of possibly coordinating a youth town hall to encourage more youth to speak up when it's usually adults that are attending these events, and forming partnerships with other organizations such as the Youth Leadership Institute and BASTA. Quickly, BASTA is basically working to reduce tobacco-related disparities and promote smoke-free multi-unit housing. And with the Youth Leadership Institute, we were looking into their youth participatory action research program. So in the last years, Hayward Youth and the Youth Leadership Institute had, in the last conference, they had an engaging presentation in practicing anti-racist leadership. And so in speaking of last year's conference, all three subcommittees are now working together to organize this year's Hayward Youth Conference. So it'll basically take place Saturday, April 30th from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And in that 3.5-hour time frame, there'll be 2 sessions with 4 workshops, each alongside youth performances, raffles, and other items that will be weaved in throughout so that participants are consistently engaged and participating. Some of our workshops will focus on social justice, diversity and equity, health and fitness, LGBTQ+ awareness, and financial literacy in terms of like cryptocurrency, investing, and generally learning how to manage your finances. So you can look out for invitations and conference-related information in the next weeks. Much of the planning that's going on into this year's conference is because of the many successes and challenges of last year's conference in terms of what worked and what didn't. So we are excited to see how everything plays out and comes together.
Sorry, I was muted. I'll jump here briefly to just we came to you last May as we were wrapping up the full year of doing, remote meetings and carrying out the restarting the annual conference that had been happening through the commission, was organized through the commission. And as I mentioned before, since Vicente, Ivan, and me kind of came into the role of advisors around the same time, we really kind of felt it would be helpful to have some guidance and really outline the roles and responsibilities as advisors to again, be able to have that guide every 2 years as we rotate the leadership. And so we wanted, to bring that to your awareness today, that would be a helpful tool for us to have. that also would hopefully incorporate outlining contributions for funding for the commission. As you know, there are some things right now we're operating minimally because we don't have some components like the field trip to Sacramento, which was something that was a pretty important part of the commission, where students got to visit some of our local representatives and really just get a bigger context of where leadership can potentially influence and hopefully also guide them into, again, their role in making impact at that level. So the MOU, those were some of our priorities coming into our roles. And now we're thankful for the opportunity that you'll give us today to hopefully review that MOU and also identify some of the requests around the funding to cover things like I mentioned, such as the field trip, conference costs, and some of the promotional materials that Anna has been very excited to put together, so that helps not only elevate awareness around the HYC and hopefully recruit, help our recruitment efforts. So that's the those are the asks, I guess, and what we're here to hopefully have you consider. With that, it would be where we're also hoping that this MOU would be something we renew every 2 years with the transition of the lead advisor role. The amount outlined in the MOU for contribution from each of the agencies would be $1,500. And again, this is a breakdown estimate around the cost for the items I mentioned in the previous page: field trips, conference, and promotional materials. And with that also, what would be the process that could be formalized so that the city of Hayward would be the recipient and holder of those funds, that hopefully we would also be able to roll over to create a pool that could hopefully, again, build up if the next year, if we didn't use all those funds fully in the year that you awarded those to the commission. And
that concludes our presentation. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. And we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you for that presentation. I have a question. I see the actual logo is the green circle, right? And it's really nice, but what about your backgrounds? Is that part of your Hayward Youth Commission logo as well, or something? You all have those beautiful, colorful backgrounds.
The backgrounds were just created using the branding kit from the city of Hayward. So they incorporated a lot of the colors that are approved by the city in their branding kit. So the commissioners just played a little bit with the design and the colors. But the logo that they have listed up there is one of the few designs. We have a couple samples. And so right now we're voting on which one we're going to go with. But we wanted to showcase one of the samples where we're heading with the new logo. The previous logo, the unapproved logo, is the 4 hands with the earth that's listed on the slides. So you can see the contrast on the logo and where we're trying to go with the brand.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Some real good creativity there. And I do like those backgrounds. They really liven up the meeting, and I don't know, like looking at them. So do we have any questions from, let's see, I see a hand up. Whose is it?
And maybe if we could unshare the presentation.
It's Councilmember Andrews.
I believe Director Hatcher was first. All
right. I'm showing.
Yeah. Whoever's first.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll go first.
Yes, yes, I see that now. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Thanks for the presentation. It is a highlight to see and to hear what you all are up to, and the passion that you have in what you're doing. It's very not only commendable, but what you're doing also is inspiring. Your family, your friends, they sometimes won't know completely what you're doing or understand it, but that's really the benefit of what you're doing. You're spreading the policy making aspect of your communities, that you can change it by being involved. I have a question regarding to your marketing and branding. I agree with the mayor. I want a background. I want to support you guys with that, anytime I see good backgrounds. But, what are the challenges of what you're finding with your marketing and branding? I know it's just, website and what kind of direction are you who are you looking to market to? The other, youth groups out there, other, agency groups that have youth elements to it? What's your marketing direction for the program?
So we developed go ahead, Anna.
I can take this one. So basically, the Youth Commission has a really wide range of ideas for our logo, and we basically just wanted to ensure that our logo represents the desires and what the message of the HYC is. And at the same time, with that, we wanted to kind of combine it with the city logo with the approved colors. And with that, we're going to use our logo to just promote it to the audience of the youth of Hayward.
Yeah, no, great. Excellent work. I'm excited. I have on my agenda to attend some of your next meetings in ramping up for the conference, and really looking forward to seeing you guys shine. The Youth Commission, when I first got involved with it, you've just elevated the game, and it's really, it really shows. Good work.
Okay. Now we have Councilmember Andrews.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your presentation. I agree. I love the background. I think it's very youthful. And just wanted to know what are some of the things you're doing to outreach in your schools in the era of COVID and having participation from your schools. Does anyone want to give?
I can do an update. So
Okay,
we
great.
actually, the application for recruitment just came out this week. And
Okay.
we are going to be using some of the same channels we've been using traditionally through our HUSD, through our communication with the middle and high schools to make sure that students get the information. Vicente's been the link with the city to make sure that the information is also going out through some of the city social media channels, and also through our own work, Vicente through HARD and Ivan through the library, just trying to outreach as much as possible through those sources. We often put together blurbs also that our members share through their own school channels and social media channels, so that we target from as many angles as possible where we have access to students.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off that, so we created a survey that we published that we spread out at some Hayward schools, as well as the youth commissioners and various youth groups, to get input really where we saw ourselves, what do we stand for, where we wanted to be, what was important, and what we wanted to focus on. So that helped, as well as colors, similar. And then we put a survey out as well as different types of logos and company logos that we thought were nice, that we thought were really eye-catching. And then we tried to incorporate that with the designer to come up with this HYC logo. As far as marketing, we're working on YouTube posts, bios, social media posts, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The city's PIO office has been very helpful in directing us and educating us on processes and colors and formats. So we're really looking to take the next level on social media and digital promotion, especially because of COVID. So now it's all digital flyers, it's all social media, and really just painting the picture and telling our story. So we've been a huge focus on that. And so coming with the logo and the colors and the branding was the first step. And now we're really ready to hit the ground running.
Thank you. And my last question is, how often do you all participate with Keep Hayward Clean and Green? I know I see someone attend the meetings. And then is there a minimum amount of time you come out for cleanups, depending on how many cleanups we have for the city if it are not canceled because of COVID?
Great. So I can answer that one, Councilmember Andrews. So actually, this last meeting we just had a couple weeks ago, we had 5 or 6 commissioners that were interested in joining the Keep Hayward Clean and Green Committee. So I'm going to forward that information. And then I don't know, is there a limit? Do you know of how many commissioners can join that task force?
I only seen one in the past that was a
Yes.
representative from the Youth Commission, but I don't know if there's a limit.
So yeah, so we'll see. We had multiple interests, so they should be joining starting the next meeting for that. And part of the community service group that I'm running, we did do a cleanup day at around the Tennyson High School, and we plan on making that once the weather is. It was really nice this week, but once the weather is more clear, we're going to do another cleanup day as a commission as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Lamnon.
Thank you. Really want to applaud the great work. As many people have said, the ownership of the commission, the excellence in your presentation, and the work that you're doing is really exciting. So thank you for all of that, and congratulations. And I wondered, somebody just spoke about kind of the social media and the interface with the city's PIO, and I wondered if there was plans. It feels like the Youth Commission could be a conduit for both city information back out to the school communities and the student communities and the families beyond that, as well as backwards, the other way, information from the community to the 3 governing bodies that you represent. And I just wondered if there was any additional thoughts. I mean, I heard you talk about getting information out about the Youth Commission itself, which absolutely is important. And I wondered about if there was conversation about other information, using those channels for other information as well.
I can share just in terms of bringing information to the commission. It really has worked. How it's currently structured is through our guest speakers that we invite. We try and really at the early months of the first, when we meet from September to December, try and get as many, school, district, city, community type guests that can sort of inform some of the focus of the work of the commission. As Shruti was sharing earlier, this idea of supporting some of the initiatives of organizations like BASTA, who are doing the, trying to do no smoking in housing units. It helps inform their, again, sort of their awareness of important issues in their community. And that's been one way to bring information in. I don't know if Vicente has additional thoughts or other information that's been shared with the committee. Sorry.
Yeah, so the structure and the staff that was present for the interview, we were really intentional about representing as many schools as we could during the interview process. So that was very key in the selection process of the current youth commissioners. And so that really allows us to spread our reach out through surveys to get input of what issues are really impacting, not just at a few schools, but I think we're covering like 18, it was a huge number of schools, middle schools, high schools, as well as community colleges and UCs as well. And so it really allows us to get input through our surveys to gain information and be the sounding board and youth voice. So we try to collect that information, and that really steers what we're working on our projects, on our missions, what policies we're looking at, what issues we're looking at. And that also drives us on what we're presenting for the youth conference. And so we do a lot of surveying to get input from the youth that we serve in the schools that the current commissioners go to as well.
That's really helpful, Vicente. Thank you. And thank you, Maya, as well. And I guess that leads to my second and last question, which is this policy question of, the youth, all of our commissions, at least at the city level, are seated as advisory bodies to the elected body. And so I sometimes wonder, I think we've done a better job over the last couple of years of seeding specific policy questions, whether it be police reform or some other things, redistricting, into the Youth Commission and making sure we're conscientious about getting feedback and input. I know you all weighed in Sky West. We talked about that last year. And that's great. And so I wonder if maybe in this year's MOU, or at least in future MOUs, if we need to be really concrete about, you know, it's great for the Youth Commission to identify needs within the community and to bring those policy positions up, but I also don't want that to happen in a vacuum. You know, there are issues that all three bodies are looking at, and I would love to hear what the Youth Commission's opinion is on the ones that are relevant. And, you know, if there are issues that are in the survey data that aren't on any of our radar, then we need to know that as well. So I'm hoping I'm making sense. I'm happy to clarify if need be. Thanks.
Are you saying that how we get each of our boards might suggest an agenda item on something that we're working on that we would appreciate their input on?
Exactly. Yeah, and I'd certainly love to hear the Youth Commission's input on, you know, what that interface looks like, which is why, you know, I'm not going to say it has to be in this MOU because we may not know yet. But yeah, I think we need to sort of formally remind ourselves that this is an important resource of information for our community. I mean, for our policymaking. Okay,
and when we get to item number 3 about the memorandum, yeah, we can keep that in mind. Okay, board member Buffetti.
Hey, just wanted to appreciate the presentation. Had a couple questions here. First one is, do we kind of track the data of Youth Commission alumni and what their participation rate is on other boards and commissions once they term off and become adults?
Not that I know of yet, Peter, once they're leaving the commission.
I'm not aware of tracking the data either.
Okay. You know, just thinking of maybe ways to kind of bridge that gap and just make sure that, you know, once you term off the Youth Commission, that all these other opportunities make that path a little bit easier. You already have a very engaged citizen here, and we don't want to lose that interest and keep the momentum going. So I think might be some good direction there. And the other question is in regards to the MOU, or is that time for now or for later?
I think we're going to get a presentation, aren't we, on the MOU, and then we'll have a discussion of it. Like it's 2 agenda items. So this one is the Hayward Youth Commission budget allocation and contributions by the City of Hayward, HUSD, and HARD. And number 3 is recommend approval of the memorandum of understanding, which actually includes those contributions. So I'm not quite sure how you
I think we that. Yeah, I think, Mayor, you can consolidate them as one agenda item if I think they're interrelated. So I think it's fine to make them one agenda item.
Yeah, mine's not too big of a question here, but it's just it might be a typo. Page 3, section B, point 4. I think the incorrect homophone was used. It's counselors with a C, which kind of refers to a governing body. I think you guys meant the SEL one for school sites. Is that not a big deal, but I want to fix that. And that's it.
I'm sorry, where were you looking again? Page 2?
Page 3.
Oh, 3, okay.
Section B, and then it's point 4. And then it's the 4th one too. Disseminate to counselors. I believe it's the other counselors, because I would refer to the board. It's that counselor.
Oh, I see. Well, we'll have them clarify that then, what they actually meant by that. Okay. All right. So does anyone want to kind of go over any more what is actually in this? I think we have all looked at it, and I guess, you know, is someone going to do a presentation? One of the questions I have is, are there changes here from how we've operated in the past? And if so, what are they?
I can share my screen to look through it if it's helpful, the MOU, and I just made that correction, board member Buffetti, thank you for pointing that out. So let me share my screen once again. And we, again, as I mentioned earlier, when I came in at the same time that Ivan came in, we really were looking for some direction around our roles and, kind of sort of expectations in advising the commission. And so we did some research, going back to when the commission was established, and thought that, found this template of an MOU that was, I think, created but not approved. And in reviewing it, we thought it gave a really good overview of, not only historical context of when it was established, but also the mission and some of the goals outlined for the MOU that, again, gave us as advisors pretty clear, responsibilities and sort of guidance. So in reviewing what our predecessors, so before Ivan, I believe it was Zach Ebadi, before me, it was my colleague Rena, and then for many years, various folks from our youth enrichment program, and from Vicente. I don't even remember Vicente. I
think it was Zach as well too.
Oh yeah. I think Zach served both for the city and the in Hart at a point. And so in reviewing this with, again, kind of what we were passed on from our predecessors, these roles and responsibilities lined up with, some of what they were doing. So in terms of the city, really, housing the commission, the posting of minutes, the, ensuring that we follow Brown Act requirements, holding the fiscal, serving as the fiscal agent for holding funds and leading the annual recruitment. All of this is basically, yes, what has been done in the past. I think what was helpful to see in this version of the MOU that we updated, and is the one we shared with you, is that other pieces like the Youth Commission, for example, were not, I think the commission had not happened, the conference, had not happened for a few years. So when we came back, or when we all came on board, we thought that's a great collective event that all the commission can work towards. And so we I think we added that one in here, but anyways, yes, the roles, the responsibilities outlined for each agency are in line with what has been done in the past and are just helpful for transitioning new folks if there are, when changes happen. And the only piece that we added was this financial piece. Same thing, we weren't sure how that happened, and just outlining it would be helpful so that there's an understanding, of what that will be each 2 years that we're suggesting this MOU is revised. Does that answer your question, Mayor?
Yes, yeah, it does. I mean, I think it's really, you both took what was existing and added what was necessary. And about the funding, we have been providing funding, but it wasn't actually stated that this is how it will be. And that funding has been used for, like, say, the Sacramento trip or the youth conference.
Yeah.
And do you think that that is enough for you to accomplish what you want, at least in the coming year?
Yeah, we actually looked at this for this 2 years. We feel there's also a rollover. So some funding that had been held by the city. So I think it's about 1,300, 1,500 that is there. We're not doing a field trip right away. We hope we can do one before the commission ends this year. Probably will be more local since Sacramento is still not welcoming visitors yet. But with that said, this would 4,500 total with 1,500 contribution from each of the agencies would suffice for this period of the MOU.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions from as far as what Councilmember Lambden was bringing up, I do see that a goal, one of the goals is it's on page 1 to D, provide opportunities for the Hayward Youth Commission to give input to the 3 agencies, which I think is something, maybe needs a little fleshing out about how that happens, but it's a good goal. So
what suggestion we actually, or guidance perhaps is the appropriate word. If, we could, for example, if you wanted us to present yearly to the HLAC board, for example, if there was a request to present to HUSD board or the HARD, board as well, so that we can create that. Again, we also are trying to get clarity, and we can, then build that into the work that we do and how we prepared our commissioners each year.
I know the city does a lot through committees, and I have to say that the input, I think through the airport committee, or maybe just through the airport itself, we solicited comments about the SkyWest, and there were some excellent suggestions by the Youth Commission that we discussed at a council meeting. And I don't know whether they ever got that feedback back, I hope they did, but that we really appreciated those suggestions. And I believe, I do think one of them wasn't one of them about the viewing, having like a viewing platform? I can't. Anyway, I do remember being impressed, and I think that we need more of that. So
more participation in committees.
Yeah, and it's not so much, and they might come to a meeting and testify if they've really looked at something and select a representative. But I think it's it's how we get to the Youth Commission. We're going to be taking this particular thing up. We would like your thoughts on it, and we should work on that as in our 3 different agencies to how we can refer something to be commented on by the Youth Commission and come back to us with their comments. So that would be good. Director Hatcher.
Thank you, Mayor. I think of the topics that were on my questions here to potentially add to this MOU was that yearly presentation to our full boards. With HARD, we have an ad hoc committee for the Hayward Youth Commission. And so, we get updated on it, but I think that would be a very beneficial to the full boards and councils and trustees to know what was going on. As I said, we have an ad hoc committee through HARD. I'd like to see attendance of a youth commission representative attend those meetings with us also. And so if that probably doesn't have to be put into the MOU, but just a suggestion that when our youth commission ad hoc meets, that they would attend also, or a rep from. And the last part, and when I went through the MOU, I saw that the city of Hayward and the school district had a note in there for one of the council members or the trustees to attend the meetings there. It says have one. If you look at under the not the park district, but of the city, attend one meeting by the school board member and attend one meeting by the city council. I don't see that for the park district, and I'd like to see us be able to host, or not host, but to attend one of the mandatory that the park district sends one of their representatives to the meeting. Up there it is. Okay, I guess I scratch that request.
Took care of it.
We definitely wanted to, we thought that would be a great opportunity for you all to, in the way that you shared, come in to request or just update and provide a connection of whatever needs you might have, or where you would want to see the commission focusing or connecting around the work the agencies are doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Councilmember Lamnon.
Thank you. I appreciated your comments, Mayor. It was a much more concise way of saying what I was trying to get at, so I appreciate that a lot. And I also appreciate Director Hatcher, you're raising the youth advisory board for HARD. I think about the teen advisory group for the library, the youth board members. I often wonder, how are these various groups connecting and coming together whenever needed? And maybe that's the youth conference, I don't know. But on the language, just to kind of build on Trustee Buffette's comment, I'm on page 3. section C, probably right where you just were for the Hayward Area Park District. Item 4, Roman numeral 4, item I, post at the Hayward District facilities, currently says when applicable, and I can guess why it says that, but I would actually recommend that it say whenever possible, because even, for instance, the senior center, seniors may be raising youth who would be eligible for the youth commission, and so just if we can say whenever possible instead of when applicable, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. There is another. Oh, yes. Mr. Wheeler.
Hello. So we would love to have the Youth Commission come, especially to our Citizen Advisory Committee meetings, where they could meet like the 13 members of that committee and have input. We also do, they're not very exciting, but the Citizen Bond Oversight Committee, maybe having a youth commissioner come in and learn about how the bond funds work and the relegation of the barn. And the last thing we'd like to do is we'd like to offer the entire youth commission some kind of parks tour or facilities tour that would end with an event that we would host for the youth commission in one of our parks. So we would love, I put Vicente in this role a couple of years ago because he's probably our best equipped guy to get in and understand and help. And we've had many conversations about how we would love to engage the members of the Youth Commission more, utilizing parks, facilities, programs, and things that we do. So maybe we can take them kayaking, maybe we can take them mountain biking, maybe we can have a mobile rec day for them. There's a lot of possibilities, but we just want to let you know that we're 100% committed to educating and entertaining the Youth Commission.
Okay. It occurs to me that, you know, we at the city, we have an appointed liaison from our, you know, from our council to each of our commissions that we have in the city, including the Youth Commission. And maybe the Youth Commission could have a liaison to each of our boards. Not that we would expect the Youth Commission to come to every meeting because, or that the liaison to come to every meeting. We meet fairly frequently, I think all of us, but I mean, through the magic of websites and everything, you can really keep on top of what we're doing, or maybe meet with the, you know, with the city or the city's liaison to the commission, or but you know, maybe there could be that back and forth with a youth commissioner assigned to kind of monitor and follow what the larger board is you know, what the agency board is doing, and report back to the Youth Commission occasionally about that. But that would be, I don't know that has to, these are more suggestions for maybe, you know, for maybe what you might want to consider at your meeting and whether there would be interest in that. I'm not suggesting an amendment to the, you know, this memorandum, but, okay, so I don't see any other hands up. I think that this is something that you want us to actually.
I think we
Madam Mayor, Dr. Wayne has his hand up.
Oh, sorry. I see. Yes.
I just put it up because it looked like as we were concluding, wanted to just take an opportunity. We have our student leaders here, and so really want to hear from them. You heard us talking about, you know, the part of the MOU that says you would advise or provide feedback on policy. What are topics, or if you know policies, but you may not know offhand all the city district and hard policy, what are policy and topics that you think would be helpful for, and you feel like it'd be nice to have a voice in or give feedback to either any of our organizations? Let's see, Anna thinking.
I'm not too sure if this is an actual policy or not, but I would want to advocate for minimum wage, for instance, since I know a lot of high schoolers like myself work, and we would want to see like more wages to support ourselves and our families.
No, that's a great example. We actually have had the conversation in the district and increased our pay for noon supervisors to $15. And I think the city has followed suit and now has a minimum wage. But you know, with just the report today of inflation is still probably not enough for people. So yeah, that's a great example. Be nice to hear maybe a couple more from students, just what you think would be, you know, topics that you think you have a perspective on that'd be helpful to share.
So you might want to contact your, advisor about who to contact at each of the agencies to find out what has been done, what is the policy. We did raise our minimum wage in Hayward a little bit in advance of what the state did. So where it is now, but I think that we are starting to see pretty significant inflation. So I think that the issue will come up again, but that's what I would suggest is first familiarizing yourself. And, this is something that I think that you who participate in this have a valuable opportunity to, learn how to get information and learn how to follow. And it isn't the easiest thing in the world either I go on our website and I can sometimes, or even maybe often, not quite find exactly what I'm looking for, but I think that's something that it would be useful for all of the people who are interested enough to be serving on the Youth Commission to have maybe some, get some pointers on how you might get the information you want to start with, so that then you can say, oh, okay, this is what they're doing now. I think, I'd like to suggest that they make this change, or, because that's how it gets done. That's how we change, is but you first have to know what's happening now to be able to figure that out. But it's a great, that's the kind of thing we really would like your input, because I think when we did that, I don't know that we had any young people coming and making that very, argument or pitch that you just made about why it is important to you as young people. And it would be helpful when we're considering policies like that to to hear from you. So, and maybe even have the Youth Commission discuss it, and then have you come back and say, these are the things that our commissioners came up with. So I think that's what I would like to encourage more of, some real communication between our agencies and the commission. And I think it would be helpful for all of us. So, how that happens, I think we have really good people on the commission and also advising the commission. And that's just some food for thought. Okay, and we have, let's see, Harnoor, Gil?
Yeah, so piggybacking off of what Anna said about hiring, I guess, the minimum wage, I think there should be more opportunities for the youth to actually work instead of volunteer, because as we know, we do deal with a large low-income community in HUSD, and we need to address that by offering opportunities that they can actually take advantage of. Because if you're giving volunteer opportunities to students who need an income, they're not going to turn to those opportunities, right? So I think offering more work opportunities that pay well for students in HUSD schools would be great. Additionally, I do have another suggestion, piggybacking off of what someone else said about having liaisons in the 3 other governing bodies that we are sort of supported by. I would love to sort of be there at City of Hayward meetings and kind of chime in whenever I can as a liaison.
We'd love to have you. And
Mayor, I might just suggest on that point is maybe the Youth Commission discusses either a rotational schedule or an opportunity for each one of their members to attend our board meetings, the council meetings as like a student representative, because there are a lot of meetings, but then at least there's maybe one representative at each meeting, and then they could report back. So maybe they could put a proposal together that could be brought back to the council and the 2 boards of directors and the board of trustees. So that might just be a suggestion.
Yeah, and we can be a part of that by saying, this is something that it would be really a good idea to have input from the Youth Commission on. And I don't know who it was who took SkyWest to them, but that was a really good idea. And, and I think we really got some good feedback from them on that. Okay, so don't see any other hands up at the moment.
But I do want to thank our student leaders for contributing, and Hard offered activities. The city offered to go to meetings. I don't know how exciting that is, so we can offer, but the district can, no, I'm just kidding. But thank you for.
I was gonna say, we don't have kayak rides, but I could
It
show
is
you.
it is through the Hayward program, right?
Sewers are very exciting.
Oh, yeah, that's a good tour. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And then also just the last thing, in all seriousness, though, we'll connect you and what we can't offer, we have a student board member, and I'm not sure, Anna, if you know Calvin Yang. Yeah, he's pushed for, we do a seal of civic engagement now that he's helped push for, and you are engaging civically, by participating on the Hayward Youth Commission. And so want to make sure that you're all aware of that and, and are able to take advantage of that, of earning that when you graduate from Hayward. Proud to be made at Hayward, and, hopefully getting opportunities like Harnor at Berkeley and other great institutions like Cal State East Bay.
And just, I do understand and appreciate the need to have real jobs and get paid for them, but, volunteering can lead to that too. I mean, starting by volunteering can often lead to real job opportunities. I wouldn't just, dismiss volunteering, but I do also appreciate that. And maybe we can look for that, how we provide, we're getting funding through state and federal sources for various programs. And maybe we can think about that and try to provide some real job opportunities through some of things. So I want to ask, do we need to vote on this or adopt it at this board, or how is this being accepted by?
Yeah, I think if HLAC wants to vote to recommend it to their respective boards, and I think each agency can then determine how and who needs, whether it needs to go to the full board or whether the respective chief executives can execute the agreement. So it'd be helpful if HLAC wanted to make just a recommendation for approval, and that would be, I think, the best first step.
Okay, and I heard a lot of discussion and good suggestions about, how we might implement this. I only heard actually one recommendation for an actual change, and that was Councilmember Lamnan's suggestion on page 3, item C, number small Roman numeral 4. 1, the word, changing the word applicable to possible. Post at Hayward area recreation and park district facilities when possible rather than applicable.
And I think there was one other edit from Trustee Buffette.
About the council, yes, yeah. Right, which is more of a, but.
Yeah, and both of those I have noted and can update the document to send you the corrected version, updated version.
Okay, so with those 2 amendments, which I'm not hearing any objections to, is there a motion to recommend that this be sent for that this be recommended by the local agencies committee back to each of our respective boards?
I'll move it.
Okay, Mr. Buffetti moves, and do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second, Madam Mayor.
Okay, by Mr. Hatcher. And then I think that, is there someone here who could take a roll call vote of the actual, elected members of HLAC? Because
I can attempt to.
Okay. I think we need to do that under the current rules.
Yeah. Okay. We'll start with the City of Hayward. Mayor Halliday.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamnan.
Yes.
Councilmember Marquez.
It's actually Andrews, but
Oh, sorry, Councilmember Andrews. Gosh, yes, I know yes, Councilmember Andrews. I apologize.
Sorry.
And then let's go to HUSD Board President Okenda.
Yes.
And Board Trustee Buffette.
Yes.
Menta Hard, Director Hatcher.
Aye.
And Director Pereira.
Yes.
It's really bad that I can't even get my board correct. I apologize, Councilmember Andrews. Sorry for that.
Well, it used to be Councilmember Marquez, so that's understandable.
Okay.
And we are on Zoom here, and we're not seeing her. But we do
Sorry.
know the difference. We do know the difference, Councilmember Andrews, and we appreciate that
It's
you're.
a compliment. She's a great council member.
Okay, so that's approved, and we'll each take it back to our respective bodies so they know that we're doing this and get a formal approval, and the Youth Commission can go on, and we'll come back, and in 2 more years, we'll review it again. So thank you for the work that was done on this, everyone who worked on it, and the history too. It's interesting. Okay, so now we're just going to move on to item number 4, which is our general agency updates, and we will start with Recreation District with Hard.
There I am on mute, speaking to myself again. You'd think after 2 years of this Zooming.
No, it's inevitable. It's inevitable.
We'd have it figured out. I want $1 for every time I said you're on mute. Okay, I apologize for straying off here. I was actually going to have our staff give you some updates in the different areas that they work in. I thought we were going to start with Megan Tiernan to give you some updates on some capital items that we have going on in the city of Hayward.
So we have quite a bit going on. So I'll just give you some of the highlights. We are wrapping up the renovation of the Hayward Area Senior Center and hoping to open that up to the public very shortly. It got basically an interior facelift, and we renovated the lobby area and reception area so it's much more inviting. A nice place, a very attractive place to visit and to stay. So we're very excited about being able to open that back up to the public. We are very close to completion on the Kennedy Park renovation. We still have some steps to go through with the state for inspections of the rides, make sure they're safe before we can reopen the park, but those are scheduled. So we are hoping that after those are inspected and certified, that we can then firm up a date for reopening to the public. We broke ground on the Sunset Futsal fields that are a partnership project with HUSD because they're on their property, and DSAL, Deputy Sheriff's Athletic Lead, who's providing partial funding. So that's an exciting one. We will be putting out the Tennyson Park renovation project out to bid in the next couple of months. So that's the park that's around Mia's Dream and adjacent to the South Hayward Youth and Family Center. And we have an approved master plan for the Bidwell site, which was previously an elementary school, and are now working with a landscape architect and an architect on the redevelopment plans for that, and are very excited about the ideas the architect has brought about adaptively reusing the school buildings so that we have a community center in South Hayward. So that's really exciting.
Okay, thank you, Megan. I believe, I don't know if you had it on yours. I was going to have Adrian, you can go next.
Sure. So I'm Adrian Lee Bird, the Director of Recreation, Arts, and Community Services for HARD. I'm fairly new. I just wanted to mention a couple of the exciting programs that we have going on. So our revamped mobile recreation program, it's held twice a month, and we're really able to hit every corner of the district and bring free services to some of the neighborhoods that might not be in close proximity to a community center. So with our mobile rec trailer, we have bikes and scooters and skateboards, all the safety equipment, mobile skate ramps. We're getting a new 28-foot rock wall next month, which will be really exciting. So last month we were at Eden Shores Park, and this Saturday we're going to be at Mervyn Morris. And a lot of folks have been, scheduling their birthday parties around it or bringing it as a family play date. So it's been really fun. And then our new VIP or Volunteers in Parks program has been extremely popular. It's held twice a month. And we usually have about 50 to 70 community members who come out and volunteer in their neighborhood park to do beautification projects. It's a great way to bring people together and safely building strong community. And also folks are developing a real sense of pride for their neighborhood parks. So we've done Sunset Park, Shoreline, Community Gardens, East Ave, Carlos B, Mount Eden. And we have one coming up this Saturday from 9:30 to 1. And then I'm so glad the Youth Commission mentioned jobs, because I am hiring over 150 people from the community. And we're having a job fair from 10 to 12 on the 26th of February, where we're meeting folks and talking about all the jobs and opportunities that we have. And so I'll talk to Vicente to get the word out to the Youth Commission. And then just one last teaser, very excited. We're kicking off our health equity initiative this spring, and it's a partnership with Tiburcio Vasquez Health Center. We're going to be providing free health and wellness programs, parent education, and outdoor education to the community through a grant that we have with them. So very excited about that. Thank you.
Okay, last really quick, I see we still have, I think, 20 minutes. Nicole, if you want to take a couple minutes so that our partners can speak too, for sure.
Thank you. My name is Nicole Espinosa-Roa. I am the interim assistant to the GM and PIO, and also have my foot somewhere in recreation. So to let you know a couple of things that we have going on that are super exciting. We are currently working on our first annual report that should be out in the next month or month and a half. And it'll give all of the information for those who don't know HARD, and some other fun facts about some of the wonderful things that we're doing with park updates and stuff like that. So that should be coming soon to a mailbox or email near you. And then we are also working on updating our website. So our website is going to get a facelift. And so we're excited to see the fun changes to make it easier for use for our community. And then we also have a board of directors awards that are coming out, and we have the winners for that. The individual of the year is Lolita Morali. She does the concerts in the park. That's a partnership between us and the city of Hayward. And she's been doing it for some crazy, like 50 years. And so she is so excited to get out there and just so excited to play. And so we are just grateful for her ability to serve the community. And so we're recognizing her for individual of the year. We also, for organization of the year for organization of the year for us, we're working with Spectrum. They served lunches to the senior population during COVID through our organization. For our foundation, they're recognizing Donna Boyer for her service to the foundation. And then also for organization for the foundation of the year, they're recognizing Oddfellows, who also does the concerts in the park, that does fundraisers for, I believe, both the Hayward Unified and for us, and other programs in the community.
Thanks, Nicole. Okay, so lastly, if you have nothing to do on Valentine's Day at lunchtime, please come to Mission and Maddox, the former Coca-Cola bottling plant. We are doing Breaking Buildings, Not Hearts for Valentine's Day, and our board and others will be down there to take a sledgehammer and start knocking that thing down for the reuse of that park, which I believe is technically at the four corners of our district, where everything kind of comes together. All the communities kind of meet right there. So we would love you to come out and take a sledgehammer and take a whack with us or something. I'm sure my risk management people are going nuts, but thank you so much for your time and indulging us. And I'm going to pass the baton. I think Kelly, you were going to go next.
Sure, I will do some quick updates. First and foremost, I know our council members have met her, but I wanted to take a moment to introduce our new assistant city manager, Regina Youngblood, who I think is coming on camera. There she is. Thrilled to have her join the city team. She is our second assistant city manager, joining Jennifer Ott, who will be staying on, and we've sort of divided the responsibilities. Regina most recently served in the city of Durham, North Carolina as their HR director, so made the big move across country, and will be overseeing a lot of our internal services, but is also going to be working as a liaison to HARD and helping with the negotiations on the master lease agreement and some others. So Regina, I probably took most of your thunder, but if you just wanted to say hello and
hello,
say anything
everyone.
else.
Hello, Kelly did a great job of introducing me and my responsibilities for the city of Hayward. I look forward to working with all of you.
Great. And then just a couple other quick announcements. I did want to let everyone know, if you hadn't seen the Stack Extra newsletter that went out, we are doing a survey to try and gauge the sort of digital divide and internet connectivity in the city of Hayward, to get a good sense of that. And I think that touches sort of all of our agencies. I think probably most particularly the school district, in terms of ability of students and households to do online learning and things like that. So it is one of our projects to try and figure out how we can increase our resources at the library and in other city services in terms of internet provision to households. So I believe it is on the city's website, but what I will ask is if Rosalinda could send the link to the survey to everyone, and if you could distribute that to your respective channels, that would be fantastic. I know our IT team would love the support in getting that out and about. I don't know about you guys, but our organization was definitely hit hard in January by COVID. And I think we had about 10% of our city employees test positive for COVID in January. So that's a significant amount of our workforce. But all that goes to say is we had launched Kirby, our bookmobile, and then took a small pause, I think, in terms of outreach in January because of COVID. But Kirby is a great resource, and the library staff is really looking for suggestions, opportunities to where Kirby can go. And so if you want to provide input or provide any suggestions about Kirby, please reach out to our library director, Jenty Adelman. I'm sure she would love any suggestions around that. And then lastly, sort of tangentially to this group, but sort of an overall community interest is the public safety innovation projects that the city has been working on for the past 2 years. Last May, the council had adopted 9 pilot projects, 3 of which were specifically focused on changing our mental health response in the community. We have launched those pilot teams, and we will be doing an update to council next Tuesday evening on the implementation of all of those various projects. And so just wanted, if folks were interested, really excited. We have partnered with Tiburcio Vasquez to partner our community paramedic with a mental health clinician, and then with Alameda County Behavioral Health, and they have a mental health clinician that is partnering with our police department, district command, community policing unit. And so really have been doing a lot in terms of outreach to our unhoused population, and also to just folks who are experiencing mental illness in our community and needing resources. So that update will come to council next Tuesday night. So I think those were some of the key city updates that I could think of off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm. All right, and that brings us to HUSD.
Yep.
Thank you. Unlike the city, the Omicron surge had no impact on Hayward and the school district.
You have such a sense of humor.
You may have seen we were in the news, but I'm really appreciative of the board and the decision we took that we thought was best for our community. And really that was the feedback we got from our community as well, that they appreciated that we took extra precautions and took some time, because particularly to address the staffing issues we were facing. We had 80 plus classrooms uncovered, couldn't even get substitutes daily after winter break. So that was really difficult. But the surge is seeming to be, we're getting on the other side of it. And we also seem to get new weekly guidance from the state or county that we have to incorporate. And so we're working on that. But on other news, other than COVID, we just had our most recent facilities workshop, and these projects really do, have a citywide impact, because you see them all across the city. And so you may have seen, those who have driven by Mount Eden, that we have our Performing Arts Center has started, and the construction, not even really, I guess it's the groundbreaking that we're still just digging things out. So it's not even, there's nothing there, but we're really excited about that, and looking to completing that in August of 23. And Lauren Eden School, the modernization is moving forward and getting in, new classrooms, a new administrative wing, new library. And so that project has been moving, as you can see. And Winton School modernization, that one you don't really see much from Winton because they're doing the back part now. But but it's happening, and so we're thrilled with that as well. And then we're doing our classroom refresh. And we were able to stretch our dollars to have more schools are going to get updated classrooms as well. So that's exciting. And then just to end in, oops, not in this one, it is enrollment season. And so you should see, like, if you're driving down 880, check out the electronic billboard. You should see us. We're going to be on some buses as well and trying to get the word out about getting families into our schools. And so you all are good ambassadors for our schools. So thanks for sharing that. And then just a reminder, it's Black History Month. And, we've been doing a lot of work in the district around equity and anti-racism. And, really doing this work every month. But during Black History Month, we have a lot of activities where we to recognize and celebrate Black history, and a lot of opportunities as well for like guest readers. That's mainly the ones, and you often get invites, but we'll be updating our calendar by the end of the week. So if you want, it does, we were talking about this in our Hayward Promise neighborhood routine. One of the things that's just missing out are so many of the community events that really brought this community together. But if you want to feel good, sign up to read at a school, because it's just so nice to be back in the school with the kids. When we were having our staffing shortage, I substituted in a classroom, and middle school language arts, which is what I was a teacher. That's what I taught when I was a teacher, and just it's good for the soul. So encourage you to come into our schools and read with our students.
And we're really getting to do that in really being there, because I did do it, I think, once during the pandemic online, and it just wasn't the same experience.
No, we're getting to our visitor. Actually, that is a good point. We're getting to our visitors. Visitors can be are allowed, and just need to follow our precautions.
Okay. But if you're worried about going in person, you can also go on Zoom. So both options are available if you want to read.
Okay, and I might mention actually that thank you for the information about your Black History Month activities, and we also have Black History displays at both of our libraries, including a really nice quilt exhibit at the downtown library that should be fun to see, and book selections at both libraries, and probably in Kirby too, I imagine.
Nice.
Okay, thank you for all of that. And I don't see any hands up, so we will just move right on to agenda building and dates for our next meeting. Do we have a plan for our next meeting? And
I think we're looking if there are any specific topics that the board wants us to bring forward at the next meeting. Otherwise, Jim and Matt and I will work our magic and come up with something to present.
Kelly, I got something. I brought it up before, and it's something that all three of our agencies are working on. It's really in regards to our environmental practices. HARD has had and has kind of reinvigorated our environmental ad hoc committee. And it's really a top-down approach instead of just saying, okay, less plastic, more composting. It's really taking a look at purchasing our fleet, not only recycling, reusing. So I'd like to see a more coordinated effort of the three agencies, because we're all, this is an issue that we're all dealing with. We're excited to deal with it. I think it's a good topic to kind of, bring the community in, bring the students involved in it. And so really, with Hayward's Keep Hayward Clean and Green, which has a lot of momentum. When I attend those meetings, I'm kind of blown away by the size and the activism in that. And I know Angela is really big at really promoting that. And then, I don't know the HUSD screening policy, but I know it's there. And I just would like to see a nice kind of continued coordinated effort, how we could potentially work together, whether it's purchasing in bulk orders or, a top down. So I'm not asking for just like next meeting, we have a whole, coordinated effort, but that we just keep this in front of us. This was a topic like emergency preparedness that we would bring up each session, and we accomplished a lot over a relatively short time. So I'd like to see that just being put on the agenda. I'm not quite sure what form. I think staff kind of come up how you want to present, maybe taking a look at each other's policies and kind of pulling that out, but just want to keep it in front of you. Thank you.
I think that's a great idea. Was that it from you, Rick?
Yes.
I think it's a great idea, and the city is currently updating its contract with Waste Management, which includes a lot of things like the types of waste receptacles we have and things like that. And I know there's a lot of confusion around what goes where sometimes because different trash collector, waste collectors do things differently, and there's a new state law. So, I mean, yeah, it's a good topic to get at from the three. I think to share information and perhaps get better coordinated and get a better education campaign. So I love that idea. Councilmember Lamnon.
Thank you. Yeah, I support that as well. And I think with 1383 now enacted, there's talk that we need to coordinate about food waste as well. So I appreciate that. And I'd like to ask if it's possible to have, I know having minutes from these meetings has been problematic, but if we at least can have a standing list on each agenda of what gets brought up as future agenda items, and that would be great. Because I feel like we do this each time and then I feel like we're starting from scratch. And maybe that's just my perception. I also am aware that the agenda gets built, that some of the things we've asked for are absolutely in the agenda. So I appreciate that.
Great, we can definitely do that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Ones that I remember from other conversations were, whether or not we need to touch base on disaster prep, don't know, but just kind of raising it. Homelessness and joint use of facilities. I know there was some conversation in the past about the courtyard, et cetera. Kind of what's the status of that, cross-training of facilities. And then I think in the last meeting, we also talked about, like, I'm glad to see the promotion of HUSD and whether or not that needs to be, more discussion about how we can support student enrollment. And then I had two new ones that I wanted to throw out there for consideration. One is, as we all three agencies continue to work on race and equity issues, I'm wondering if there needs to be some joint policy about how we recognize cultural and ethnic identities, how we recognize in celebrations. We through the leadership of Councilmember Andrews, we are going to raise the Pan-African flag in Hayward, and that's great. I'm excited about that. We raised the Pride flag in, I know, on the school districts as well as in the city. And I just wonder if we need some kind of policy about how do we do this? What do we recognize? I've had lots of discussions around the December holidays, et cetera. And it's not an easy conversation, but I think, the intent to celebrate our diverse community is there. And I just wonder if there's some policy decisions that this group could work together on. And again, when I say these things, I'm not thinking big staff presentation. I'm thinking really the opportunity for our three agencies to talk with each other and brainstorm policy. And the second one is whether or not there needs to be conversation about disparate racial impacts on enforcement, on achievement. I think we're looking deeply at that. I know we are in the city. I'm sure the school district is, and to the extent that there's impacts in HARD as well. But I wonder if there needs to be, again, some policy conversation or, recognition of progress made or things like that. So I'll throw those out there for consideration. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And Councilmember Andrews.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just wondering if we could talk about traffic safety and pedestrian safety as a meeting topic, as we are getting a lot of complaints about excessive speeding. And I know there's youth that are starting to drive. I know there's some youth that are preferring to Uber and other things, but there's still youth that do take their driving test. And just want to see if we can have a coordinated effort of possibly some kind of campaign or something in promoting traffic safety. And also if there's any opportunities that come up for a joint effort for public art, if there's anything that the school might be working on, or HARD might be working on, or Keep Hayward Clean might be considering in the future, that we join forces in seeing if we can make something happen in target areas that need more attention, and public art can be a way to address that.
Okay. I like all of those suggestions, but the traffic and pedestrian safety in particular, that is a, I would like to have a discussion around that, and particularly around the Safe Routes to School program that Alameda County Transportation Commission has implemented, and the student bus program and how that's working in the school district. I don't know how much that really has to do with HARD, although it wouldn't be, I mean, knowing that students have these, hopefully they do. I think so the Hayward schools are participating. You know, free bus passes would make it easier for students to move, you know, to get around to some of our parks. So in some ways it might involve HARD, but I think that's a good overall idea. And okay, and with that, I don't see any other hands up unless Councilmember Lamnon, you just haven't put yours down, but.
Oh, you know, I didn't, but I did realize that I missed one thing, which is.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. You know, it occurs to me, with the mobile rec, it seems like there's the opportunity to coordinate Kirby opportunity, you know, to be at the same place. And, you know, eventually maybe even build that out a little bit. Maybe that's a place that the animal shelter comes when it's kitten season and there's way too many kittens, or, you know, even that there's a meet your elected. And I mean, between the three boards, there's 17 of us. We could each take one event and, you know, listen to the community. But, you know, there's different things, or our, you know, recruitment events and so on, that those mobile events that both the city and HARD are doing may become community hubs as well. So I'm excited about that.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I actually am in Leadership Hayward with your library director. So we actually spoke about Kirby and mobile rec joining forces. So very exciting.
Great.
We're excited about kittens because the animal shelter will be using the barn at Kennedy Park to do adoption days and pet care and all kinds of programs in place of the petting zoo that we will no longer have because of the people's concerns about the animals and the treatment and stuff. So,
yeah. Okay. And with that, do we have, what did you say, Kelly, about you're working on a date, or we don't really have a date yet?
I think we have a date. Let me just look at my calendar real quick. Hold on. It should be, I think it isn't. It should be in April or maybe early May.
Are we? It's for every 4 months, or
Rosalinda, do you know what date it is? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I'm looking right now on the calendar. Just give me a second.
I think it may be May 12th. Yep, May 12th.
Okay.
Great. Yep, May 12th.
All right, with that, unless anyone else has anything, we can adjourn. Maybe we'll have a meeting in person. Maybe in May we will meet in person. That could happen, right? All right.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Bye-bye.
see you guys. You're all good to see you.